This is The Download from Sounds Profitable, your daily source for the essential news of the business of podcasting, brought to you by Spreaker from iHeart. I'm Gavin Gaddis. Here's what you need to know for today, Monday, June 3rd. First up, Spotify's Megaphone to return to IAB certification. In an exclusive reveal on Sunday, Pod News has broken the story that Spotify's Megaphone platform is now working to be recertified. The move comes after the discovery in late April that all of Spotify's podcasting arms, including Megaphone, Spotify for Podcasters, and Chartable, had been removed from the list of compliant companies for podcast measurement. A spokesperson told Pod News Spotify remains committed to the IAB's mission and are working on getting V2.2 certification for the Megaphone platform. Up next, Triton Digital unveils 2024 Canadian Podcast Report. The report is built from Triton Digital's podcast metrics service, as well as the 2023 Canadian Podcast Listener Study published by Signal Hill Insights. Key findings include an average of 5.9 hours of content downloaded per listener per week. Canadian listeners average 8.2 episodes consumed per week, and 92.9% of podcasts were downloaded on a mobile device. Next up, disillusioned DTC brands reject walled garden measurement. Direct-to-consumer brands, or DTC, have begun embracing third-party firms when measuring campaigns, shifting away from a reliance on walled gardens that have largely dominated the measurement space historically. The move is in part motivated by an abundance of caution, as ads have become more expensive and DTC companies want more assurance they're spending on media that truly works. Next up, publishers and advertisers demand that Apple's Tim Cook stop the rollout of an anticipated web eraser tool over fears it'll hobble web advertising. The proposed web eraser update, anticipated for a future version of Apple's web browser Safari, would allow users to remove unwanted content from web pages. The browser would then remember those choices for subsequent visits, effectively enabling users to block ads, text, and images. A group of trade associations representing around 800 advertisers, publishers, agencies, and ad tech companies have signed a joint letter to Apple's CEO expressing concerns such a tool would have a negative impact on online advertising. And finally, how Spotify is protecting election integrity in 2024. Spotify Chief Public Affairs Officer Dusty Jenkins shares the company's approach to political ads and how they prepare for the 2024 election season. Preparations include the acquisition of Kinzen in 2022 and instituting the Global Spotify Safety Advisory Council. Political ads in podcasts must clearly disclose the use of any synthetic or manipulated media, including AI-generated content depicting real or realistic-looking people or events. As for the rest of the news, Wondery makes its first move into UK sports podcasts with the launch of Everything to Play For. Spotify has published a breakdown of new Spotify premium costs in the United States, including individual accounts increasing from $10.99 a month to $11.99 a month. Vox has published a retrospective on Serial and its role in the true crime podcasting boom. And OpenAI has partnered with Vox Media to use the brands under Vox's umbrella to train the company's ChatGPT product, as well as develop new products for Vox. Be sure to check out the links to every article mentioned right in your podcast listening app or at soundsprofitable.com, where you can also subscribe to the newsletter version. The Download is written and produced by Brian Barletta, Gavin Gaddis, Tom Webster, and Newton Shuttlecotty. This episode is hosted on Spreaker. For Sounds Profitable, I'm Gavin Gaddis. Download us again tomorrow.